This is our third day in a row doing live streams. As I have advertised the past 2 days during those live streams that we are today going to work on ballast on the tracks. I've done an update that I guess that was Friday or Thursday. We did a video showing a little bit on the corner over here. I'll show you what we're going to be doing with that. It's pretty well finished. So we're going to work down this straight stretch track right here. I think it's probably going to take a couple hours to do all this. So we'll probably I'll set the camera up here in a little bit and we'll go from there. And I hope some of you saw our live stream yesterday that we had showing the printing. That was pretty fun with the part of the big building that's going to go right here. We're just about, well, let's see. We're printing the second to last big side piece, and then we got a couple of smalls, and then we got to do the roof. So by the end of the day, we'll have all the pieces printed for it, and we'll have a live stream of that later in this week when I have this all set up over here so I can get it. It's a long building, so I'm going to have to clean my table off, and we'll start doing all the gluing and everything on that. So we'll have a live stream for that. Now, forgive any of the lights flickering and things like that. We've got a heater up in the attic going just to warm things up there for us. And when the heater's on, it's a really powerful heater. It makes things flicker a little bit because I'm on the same circuit as that. So, but it shouldn't affect much, especially when I get this camera moved over here and we're just looking straight down on the tracks. So it should be pretty good on that. So.
Oh, DLM is back.
Oh.
He asks how's it going?
Doing good. Just cold, like everybody up here in the upper Midwest is right now, as I'm sure you are. We actually had a pipe freeze last night. We're warming it up in the attic right now. That's why I've got the heater on. We've got some valves cracked open so that we can get the water to start flowing again. I forgot to leave the faucet on last night, knowing we were going to be having wind chills and actual temps out there down to about minus 20, 30. So the attic's pretty well insulated, but it does happen from time to time. So we'll get it warmed up there over the next day or so. Plus, I mean, we've got 40, 50 degree weather coming. So the whole house is going to heat up. It'll be fine after that. So it's just a bathroom upstairs. Well, anyway, so like I said, we are going to be doing the ballasting over here. Hope you saw the build. Like I said, almost finished on the print. So we will be doing the build of it over here on Friday, either Thursday or Friday, but probably Friday. And we may do another live feed early in the week. There's some projects coming up that I want to tackle early on before I start getting into the building builds and all of the I-beam work and everything here. There's a few things I want to finish up, so we may be getting to that. So I guess without further ado, we shall. Is everything okay?
Yeah, DLM says very cold here in Iowa, and Stacy says it's 10 degrees here in Ohio.
Yeah. I was watching the virtual rail, and I was cruising through their channels that go through where that snow was going through that hit basically like Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and I saw the temperatures dropping on all those and saw the snow flying. So yeah, it's hitting everywhere right now. But we got our warm up coming. It's going to hit this whole same area that you guys are in, that we're in. So we got a really nice warm up coming. They predicted this way back that we were going to have a thaw coming. It came earlier than they thought. They didn't think it was going to come until January, but it's here now. So that's okay. The only problem is we probably won't have white Christmas now. Probably all going to melt before we get to Christmas. So this is the first time we were going to have a white Christmas in like 5 years, but that's all right. So I'm not too worried about it, but we'll just have to deal with. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys what I did over here during the week. I'll give you an idea about how long this took, and then we're going to set the camera up over here, and then we'll just chat, and I'm going to just keep working on coming this way with the ballasting. I mixed a new batch of glue this morning. I may have to adjust it a little bit. I'll see how it flows. If it gets down into the ballast the way it's supposed to. My glasses on here so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. I was just testing how things looked. So this is what I did. I got all of this from here all the way around to here. So I'll stand back and you can see it's a fairly decent amount. It's about almost 3 foot per track, thereabouts, 2.5, 3 foot per track. So I probably did between 8 and 9 feet of actual track if it was all end to end. So this is what I'm going to show you how I accomplished this. If you look right here, you can see that This right here, I was able to keep that strip right through the middle right here. And that's just by using the brush to keep that cleared out while I'm putting the glue in. So there's a process. The way we start this off is we're going to be putting the ballast in the middle of the track. We'll get that all finished and glued in. Oh, so he said it's 77 in South Florida. So that's yeah, that's a far cry from what we've got here. So we're going to start with the ballast right along here in the middle. I'll probably do both. I'm probably going to try to work out to about right here, this area right here. If I can get this taken care of in about an hour to 2 hours, I'll be happy, because this right here took me about 2 days, probably about 4 hours a day to do all of this. And that's a lot of work. And you think, boy, that's a lot for what you're doing. You know, a lot of time killer there. But, you know, if you want it to look good, you got to take your time on it. And I do have another step left to go right here. So right here where the ballast hits the rest of the landscaping material, like the sand or the dirt from Woodland Scenics, I'm going to actually darken the edge of the roadbed. I talked about this when we did our live, I think it was Friday. I'm going to try to make it look like this right here. This is one of my drawings. You can see how you get this dark edge right here, the shadow edge and like dirt edge right here along the base of the roadbed. I'm going to try to get that simulated here. I've never done that before actually in the layout, but I'm going to give it a try, and we're going to see how it looks. I'll probably test a spot that I can hide later. I can like maybe take gray and hide it, just because I can match this gray pretty much right on. So we're going to get to this point. Yes, I did draw that. Thank you. Yeah, that was one of the drawings. I've done about 120 to 130 drawings. It was all done in either colored pencil or graphite. I've done just about pretty much every main road that there is in the country. Mostly focused on the Southwest. All right, so I'm going to set the camera here. I'm going to get it set up so I can get a good view of this. I'm going to get some lights aiming down here so we get a little better light on the subject. And then we're just going to get to it. So let me get this set up. I'm going to see if I can stand on a stool here and see if I can, because this is against the wall and I can't get back behind it. So let me see here. I'll try to get a good shot of this area right here. That's pretty good. I'm going to back it up just a little bit in case I go a little further than that. Sorry about the dirty desk. Like I said, I'm going to clean that before I start doing the build on the 3D print that we showed yesterday. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to check and make sure that area down there, everything is pretty well straight. Nothing needs to be adjusted too much. That it's going to, because when the glue goes underneath that I'm going to do, the white glue, it's going to really lock that track down. Okay, I can see right here I've got to shift this way just a little bit. So I'm going to get my hammer. I'm going to try not to disturb this that's glued down here, but it might crack a little bit and I'll have to just redo it, but we'll see. Oh yeah, cold temps. Let me see how that did. Oh, that straightened that out really well. Okay, that actually solved a couple of areas. This right here needs to just go that way just a little bit. Oh, that's all nice and straight. So for the area that I'm going to work on today, everything looks pretty good. That's, like I said, it's going to be this area right here. All right, so next step is to get the ballast. This is the ballast I use. It's the fine ballast gray blend, so it's got black and white and gray all mixed together, which gives you just a really nice variance. I didn't want a solid color, so I'm just going to put what I need into the cap, and then whatever I don't need, I use later, I put back in the bottle. Okay. So, excuse me. We're going to just start on this back track, and we're going to come right down the middle. I'll just take a pinch like you're going to do salt. This is very time consuming, so I'm just going to warn you right now. If you got things you want to do and you want to come back and just see how the progression goes,
feel free to, because this will take a while. But this will show you how to get that same effect that I just showed back in this area. This is how I did all of this. So you just do it like you're pinching salt. So I'm going to go just a little bit past this nail right here. And I'll do the 3 tracks to there. I'll go probably like about right in here. I estimate, with as long as this took over here in the corner, to do the rest of this lower level, it's probably going to take me the better part of a week to ballast it. And that's probably, I'm going to guess about 6 hours a day, something like that. All right, so we're going to do that, and we're going to do this. Now, right now, it's not that big a deal, keeping the extra ballast in your fingers off of any other areas, but pretty soon it's going to come to a stage where you're going to have to be really careful with how you do it. I'm trying to get this so you can see how it just goes in. But again, you just hold it between your fingers, and you just, it's like you're doing salt.
Steve's watching us while he's mowing his tractor.
So he's actually still mowing. Boy, got to be in the south, somewhere, southern state somewhere, because our grass died months ago.
He's from Florida.
Ah, okay. All right, so I'll get this other track right here. Then this is the easiest. This is the easiest of the sections to do. Each track I divide into the 3 sections, obviously. You have your middle right here, and then you have either side of the track. So this is the simplest. You got the 2 rails on either side, kind of hemming it all in. Now, the only problem you have with this is there's no place for this ballast to go once you start using the brush. And this will stop a lot of track movement too. If you've got some track that moves from side to side, like I said, it'll glue it down, and it'll lock everything down onto the roadbed. Okay, I think I'll go. That's a good foot on each track, so I think that's a good spot to stop. All right, find my brush. All right, I use a white. You can see it. It's an angled brush. I'll try to hold this so you can see it. It's got a cut angle right here. Makes it a lot easier to get next to the rails, and then you flip it around and work this side. A square brush, you almost have to work straight up and down. I like working more at an angle, so this is how this is just done. So, I was going to mention, this is why I paint my track. You can really see how against this gray, how beautifully that track stands out. Versus black or the dark brown that you can get it in. You can pick any color you want. Like I said, you could go more with a reddish brown if you want more of that look. Now, any low spots here, I'll come back in. This is just the first coat of this, and second coat will just be building up. I got a few little low spots here that I'm going to have to deal with. You don't want to hit this too hard because the stuff goes flying. These little bits, this fine stuff, well, any of the ballast will go flying pretty good. So you want to just try to do it nice and easy. And then I go in and I really start just getting, because when the glue goes on, you don't want any on the tops of the ties. I mean, there is in the real world, you can see the ballast sitting on top of ties, but I just don't like the look. I like seeing, since I take all the time to paint it, I like seeing the effect of the ties. So. And these little brushes, their bristles will start to go out in different directions. So occasionally you have to get a pair of scissors and cut those wild ones off of there because they'll start to get where they poke at angles. and you'll start saying, well, I didn't hit that spot. You don't see the little bristle because it's so fine. So you just need to hold it up every now and then to a solid, darker surface so you can see any that are kind of angling out, and then you just trim those. Oh, somebody said he's thinking about going to the local hobby store and pick up track because he's thinking about extending his layout and getting some yards. Yards are fun, but when you got to ballast them, but yeah, I'm going to be putting a yard up over on the back side here to the right, and I'm not looking forward to that. It'll be probably this times 5 as far as tracks go for that area. So not looking forward to doing that. All right, I just about got this back one done. Okay. I'm going to go ahead while I'm on it. I'm going to, if there's any low areas, I'm just going to go ahead and do this real quick so I don't forget, because I saw a few spots that are a little low. So I got a little spot right here. Okay. And then you just got to go back in and move things around a little bit.
It says yards can be tricky.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yards can be tricky. Especially when it comes to wiring, depending on whether you do DC or DCC. Okay, so we're getting there. I've got this back track ready for glue, but I'm going to get all 3 done before I get to that stage. Okay, so now we'll come to this one. Let's see here. I'm going to go this way a little bit because I can see some lower areas right here. I'm going to start coming this way now. Doesn't hurt to go back and forth with it like that so that you make sure you get enough down in between the ties. And eventually it all goes down to the end anyway. Whatever's extra. So there we go. Yeah, very good. Nobody, I don't know if anybody heard my son calling that. He says, somebody says he's got a lot of CN, BNSF. What was the other? Oh, he didn't hear me. I think it said Union Pacific. Nothing. I just asked what the other roads were, but that's all right. No, that's all right.
BNSF, CSX, and Canadian Pacific.
Right. Oh yeah, the CSX. Yeah. I like the what is it, the Y2 scheme? I think it's the Y2 scheme that CSX had. That was the gray with that slanted blue on it. I like that one. Okay. All right, so same thing. Now this one, because I went ahead and I filled it up a little bit more, I don't have any low spots. So all I've got to do on this track is just make sure the ties are clear. Then after I do the glue, I use toothpicks to come in and knock off all the little bits that flow over the top. So when you see the glue go on here in just a second, think, oh, good grief, he's covered everything up. Well, that just happens because of the glue flow. But you take care of that easy enough with the toothpick. I keep about 4 or 5 toothpicks handy because I always set one down. I can't remember where I put it. So I always keep, 2 or 3 right here with me. Now, you see I've had my hand here on this. This has all been glued down. There's nothing on my palm right here. That's how well the glue works with the stuff. So don't worry if you've got that already done and it's glued into place. Don't worry about it. That's what happened all along back here. I had that all glued down, no issues, no problems. So that's why I didn't mind already having this part done. Plus, it just made it easier for putting the ballast up to it. Kind of already defining the space with the landscaping.
Tree Hunter says 3-track main line, nice.
Yeah, so we said 3-track main line, nice. So, yeah, I really like watching the virtual rail live cam they have at Horseshoe Curve, and that's a 3-track main line. And Fort Madison has 3 tracks. One's more of a local type of a thing, and then the other 2 main lines that are pass-throughs. but they have really great, they catch great things of 3-train meetups. So that's what I'm hoping to do with this when we start getting this done and start doing our runs and making our videos here is do some really cool three-train things. Plus I needed an extra one just kind of, even though it's a main line, it's going to act like a siding because it's for the passenger trains that are going to go underneath this other corner over here into this area where we're going to have the hotel and the station. So I figured I was going to have something instead of having just a plain siding. I thought, well, I'll just do a third main line, and that way we can just get stuff running and have some really good stuff going. So, okay, so that is done to there. So this one, I'm just going to, right now, I'm just going to brush this one into place. I'm not going to put the glue on this track right here because I am going to be having the palm of my hand right here to do a lot of the gluing on the back 2 tracks. If I just leave this dry, I won't take a chance of pulling any of it up and having it stick to my hands. So it's just, you got to do this just nice and easy. I'm not going to get too crazy with it as far as getting it completely ready to go right now, because I am going to be waiting a little bit on it. So I'm just going to make sure I have all of the just kind of down to flush, and then I'll come back and I'll clean it up later, clean the ties up later. But right now, all I want to do is just get this in. So I know exactly where I'm going to be. Okay. That's pretty good. All right, so we're going to go to gluing. Check here, make sure I got everything off the inside of the rails. So don't glue anything here that's going to catch on the flanges of the engine or the cars. Everything looks good there. Everything's good on the inside. Okay. So I'll get that out of the way. So here's my glue. This is about 30% white glue, 70% water, and then there's a couple of good squirts of dish detergent in there. Now don't get soap, like hand soap or anything like that. You want a detergent, an actual dish detergent. We use Ajax for our dishes anyway, so that's what I have in here. That's why you've got a little bit of a yellow cast to it. This is all dry. You can see there's no yellow cast to any of that. You don't see any of that when it's done. Now I've got a glass here, cup here that has clear water in it. Well, not clear, but it's what I use to clean out the. You're not seeing this, but you're probably hearing it. Clean out the eyedropper. Now I have. Get that all open up. All right, I have an eyedropper that has a bend to it right here. Makes it a lot easier than having to go in like this. So I need to get something to clean off the ends. I keep a paper towel always handy because when it comes out of the glue, there's always a few bubbles on it. You just want to get those off. So I'm just going to set the glue up right here. I don't know if it's in camera or not, but it's right there. I've got it sitting on the back 2 tracks. I go in, dropper it up.
Arski says, I'm new. I started in my dining room and going through a wall into my living room. As you can tell, I'm single. Haha. I bought 6 Broadway limited imports with 5 on order that should be here next month.
Oh, nice. Somebody said he's just starting his layout and he's going through his living room into his dining room, and he's got some Broadway limited engines he's bought, and he's got some more on order. Well, that's great. I hope, are they diesels? Are they steam? What have you got coming? So now we're going to go into this. I can't remember where my old ended, so I'm going to just be coming forward here. What you want to do is you don't want, okay, when you're doing the dropper, do not, don't squeeze it and then let it suck back up, because you're going to pull up a ton of the ballast into the tip here of that. So when you pull it up, you want to be pulling the dropper up as the glue is flowing so you don't get any of that and it stays down in the grooves. I'm just continually squeezing right here, and then I take a break and I let it reload after I pull it back up. That's when I let the air go out. It looks like the mix is pretty good. Now, in between tracks, it's a little harder to judge the glue getting in there because of the plastic that's on the side underneath the rails. And beside the ties, it doesn't allow, there's a few gaps on, like every other track or whatever, that the glue will flow out, but for the most part, it stays right inside. So you just kind of have to judge the flow of how much you use. All right, get a little more glue, clean it off. The sides are much easier to do and go a lot quicker. The only difference with the sides is the amount you have to build it up for that slope that's on the roadbed. I have a trick that I use to do it so that you don't lose a whole lot of roadbed running down the side of, or a whole lot of ballast running down the side of the roadbed. And then I use my fingers. I get a paper towel and I use my fingers and I actually sculpt and push the stuff in once it's wet. And that's how you can get that beautiful slope to it that looks like the mounds that you have on the reel, out in the reel on the track, the main line. You see, my track gang is a very, very hardworking group and are very particular about how they have the mainline tracks look. Now, I have noticed sometimes I do a weak concentration of glue. This is looking pretty strong right here. It's very opaque, but it doesn't matter either way. I always put a second coat on the next day. So that curve I showed you back there, that has all had its second coats done. So you just, once you have this down, it's actually very easy. Second coat goes real quick because you're not having to pick ballast off the ties or anymore or sculpt anything because it's not really going to move. All you're doing is just sealing things down just a little bit better. It's worth the time and effort to do that because then that way over time, as your trains are rumbling over it and all that vibration, you don't have your ballast coming up. So it's worth the second coat now while you've got time and it's all here and this is what you're working on, to just go ahead and do it. So once I get this done, I'll go along the tracks with the toothpick and I'll pick everything off and make them highlight. Do that before you move to the next track because you just want to go ahead and get it in place where everything's still really wet in this area. Okay, so squeeze out the excess glue. Get the thing. I turn it upside down like this. I make sure I get all the way back up underneath the rubber squeeze area, and I just leave it in the thing there. Okay, so now we're going to get the toothpick. This is the tedious part. This is where you can spend a lot of time on. You go crazy doing this.
He says, one is a big boy, the others are diesels. 4 there, new 70 ACEs, second run. 2 are the Conductors Club ES44s, and 3 are the new ES44s. I like the smoke.
Oh, very good. So the guy has a variety. If you didn't hear Gabe on that, he said he's got big boys. He's got a big boy coming and some ES units, modern diesels. So just kind of a mix. So that's great. That's what we go for because I do like running steam and diesel. I'll eventually be getting some of this. There's some diesels that I want to get, but they're only available very limited or in brass. And brass is still expensive, even though the market on it has gotten, because nobody wants to have to go into a brass engine and do the DCC conversion, sound conversion, all that stuff. So it's kind of killed the sales, but the prices have definitely not come down. I'd like to get a C&O Yellow Belly, both in N-scale and HO. And an M1, that turbine, that steam turbine that CNO also had. And I want a blue goose, definitely want a blue goose, but I can get that without having to go brass on that. There's some excellent versions of that that are in plastic that have as good of details. Now you can see, just by coming along and picking this off, how just taking this stuff off, how it's cleaning the ties and making them really stand out. And once all of this ballast dries and gets the lighter color, right now it's really dark because it's wet. Once the ballast dries, these ties will stand out beautifully. And then I'll go to the middle track here and I'll get this done on the middle track, and then we'll start doing sides. Like I said, I'm not going to do the front track here until the very end. Just because you see I got my hand on that track right now. If I was to put, when I start working on these back tracks on the sides, if I have that wet like these are, it'll all be stuck to my hand. I'd be just taking it right off the track. So you just got to kind of be aware of how you have your stuff set up. Now, see, these things are starting to pop up here and there. So what I'm going to do here in just a sec is I'm going to tamp everything down with the tip of my finger. So get everything off the track itself. And then that usually gets it pretty well done. I may have to go back, catch a few little spots here that kind of squeeze over onto the ties. And when you see a piece on the track where it's going to be where the flanges are, just pick it off. I can't see the back side of this, so all I do is I just take this and I just run it to make sure I don't have anything on the underside of that lip there for where the wheels are. Do that and you'll have clearances and no problems. Okay, so I'm just going to take here, I'm just going to, yeah, I think I'll just quickly run my hand right down just like that. There we go. And any other pieces that just came up, I'll just go back in and do that. But that really tapped things down pretty good to make it all nice and even and level. Perfect. There'll be a few that I'll have to deal with after it all dries that I just can't see right now. That looks pretty good. I'm checking the straightness of the track. It looks all right. So we're good. All right, so we're going to get this middle of this one right here, and then we'll start to work on the sides. Get the eyedropper, get the clear water, or not clear water, but the water out of it. The cleaning water out of it. Get the dropper cleared off the end to get rid of the bubbles. I may have already done this right here. Nope, that's fresh. Okay. See, I have a tendency of going beyond. When I'm working here, I'll go a little further out, and I had them right there, so that's all right. So we are just letting it flow. Like you saw, if you look at that top track, that farthest track from me, you can just see all those ties are really standing out. So don't worry about this getting messy. Just get the glue down in there. We're getting there. About halfway down this track now. We got lots of floaters, so I have to clear my eyes every now and then because then it just gets to being too blurry.
Arsky says I have the Aurora Miniatures DCC mystery box coming this week also. I bought the Aurora Miniatures Great Mystery Box. I was very pleased with that, so I ordered the DCC locomotive.
Oh, somebody's ordered some mystery boxes from Aurora. I've seen a lot of the mystery boxes people have been getting on Facebook. They've been getting some really good stuff. Some people have been ripped off. If what they showed that they got out of the box was really what they got, but it seems like it's mostly been a good value for the money. And it's one of the first couple of years I've actually seen this being done by so many people. I don't know, maybe just the inventory isn't moving due to the way things are, and it's just a good way just to clear out for new stuff coming in because there've been a lot of announcements about new products coming, so a good way people are picking up some good stuff cheap. I saw a guy he got a box in, so he was getting rid of a bunch of his stuff because his box gave him some really great stuff. He had some Norfolk Southern SD40-2s in N scale, basically new with DCC in them. So he was selling them at $90 a piece. Almost did it. So I love the SD40. That's one of I've drawn it probably a half a dozen times, just like I have the big boy. Just one of my favorite all time. I just love those big porches on the front and rear. I think it looks like a very balanced locomotive. All right, back to the toothpick. So, you start. You know what? I'm just going to see how much is. I can just take off with my hand real quick here. Okay. Look at this. Some areas that were kind of high to start off with that I don't think I brushed them down far enough. The ballast will stick really well to the end of the toothpick, so if you've got to take some off, it's really easy to do. So. Oh, hello. Got a few more joining us. Glad you're here. We're just ballasting today. We're in the middle of doing the center of two of the main lines. We've got this third main line down here that we'll get to towards the end, but we almost have the centers done of these two. We can start moving to the sides. This is, like I said, this is kind of tedious, but the end result is worth it. I can already see this one up here. It's drying very nicely. The liquid on the surface is getting down in. So I'm going to have the same look that I have back here over here for sure. Sometimes I get out of the rhythm of stuff after I've been away from it for a while, but fortunately I've been doing a lot of this over the past just couple of days. So got to get some of this out of here. Oh, okay. Welcome back. All right, so here we go. We're almost down. The end here, we can start working on the sides. And the sides, because the glue, like I said, because the glue doesn't get trapped like it does here in the middle. This part of it goes a lot quicker. Well, it goes quicker because one, glue doesn't get trapped. Two, you only have a little bit of a little bit of wood right there that you actually have to clean off. So it doesn't take too long. If I hadn't had the cataract surgery, I could be doing this without glasses or anything. I used to have fantastic nearsighted vision. That's how I did all my drawings that I did over the years. Is I just took my glasses off for the nearsightedness that I needed every day, and then I could just get down really close and work on things so well up close. So now I've got to use some little cheaters on them, and when I'm working on really fine stuff, I've got a good magnifier too. But this doesn't require that. This is It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to come back. There's definitely some good amounts of glue in between here, so I'll have to make sure I get everything cleaned off. Okay, so got that part done. We've got it in the middle. Come along here. I can see a couple little bits on top of the rail, so just make sure I have them off right here. Okay. All right. So now we'll do the sides. All right. Move the glue back just a little ways. Put my toothpick right there. Get my ballast. All right. I like to start working from the back forward. It just seems like it's just easier that way. I don't know. You can probably do it any pattern you want to do it. Now, what you do on this is you want to really take it and just put it on the top edge of your road bed. You can see I'm using my thumb as a guide along the rail, and you want to make sure you build this up pretty good. And you'll see why here in just a minute. You want to make sure you get these ties pretty well covered here on the side. And you go back, and if you don't have enough in spots, just put it on. Back here where this connects in, I'll make sure I got enough there. All right, so let me see here. If I got any thin areas, just a couple here and there. Okay, so I'm going to set this down, and I'm going to go back to my angled brush that I have, and I'm just going to start. And well, there's a couple of thin areas right back here. Okay, so hopefully you can see it, but some of the ballast has gone down, and it's all along the edge of the road bed, which is perfectly fine. That will start to build up and act as a dam for the rest of this that's on top. And once we get the glue on, that'll give you a good stopping point. So what we're going to do now is we are just going to take this, and we are going to start cleaning off the track. Just right here next to the rail, we're going to make sure those ties are sticking out. And I can see I got a couple low spots still. But I'll adjust that when it comes time to do the second coat. Now, one thing to be aware of is the glue will flow out. Now we can already see right here I've got some wet ballast from the glue right along the edge. Okay, so I've got the ties pretty well cleaned off right here for the most part. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come along and I'm going to tap at an angle right along the edge of the road bed. I'm just going to go all the way down. What this is doing is it's making a nice flat surface for the road bed. Right along just like that. Then it'll backed up in a few spots. You're going to have to go back in and clean out the top of the ties. Just like that. For the most part, it's pretty well done. Okay. Now, we've got a kind of a wavy, kind of a crazy edge going on right here, so I'm just going to come back in. Since all of this is dry down here, I haven't gone down there, I'm just going to start brushing the road bed, or the ballast back to the road bed edge, because I don't want it out too far. There we go. Now things are going to get crazy once the glue goes. This stuff's going to be going everywhere. So the more you can do right now, the better. to create the look you're wanting, to create how wide you want it. You can, I have a certain, how far I go out from the roadbed. So what I like to do for the effect. So this is the time to set up that area to make sure you're going to have the right width you want around your track. Okay. So next step, back to the glue. Again, I have hardly used any of it at this point. I just have been using quite a bit, so that's why I wanted to reload and remix this morning. Because after doing the second coat back on the curve, I had used pretty close to what this amount is. All right, so now we're going to go here, and we are just going to start working our way down. If I'm not quite in frame, I'll be there shortly, but I think you should be in frame here. I should be able to see what I'm doing. But if not, I'll be down that area pretty quick, and it doesn't change. It's the same all the way down. I start with the glue between the ties, and then I work out to the edge. I can hear our printer going in the background, doing that section, that second section. We're probably going to be doing those, another one of the live feeds for the printing in a day or two when we get close to finishing up that building. Maybe some of the top pieces. And again, don't let the air come back up. Keep a nice flow with the glue going. Keep a nice pressure on the bulb at the end so that you don't suck the ballast back into the tube. Okay, pick up a little bit more. Clean off the end. And again, we're just starting right here by the thing. And this takes about 2 times to build this up. Right here on the top part, and then it's maybe once, and the second time we build it up on the top, I also start to tackle the side. You'll see here, because as soon as I get done with the glue here on the top, I'm going to hit the base down there at the bottom. And when we do that, we bring the glue up the side of the road bed so that everything stays wet, and then we work our way from the top down the sides, the angled sides. But it's moving pretty good now. Very good, almost to the end here. And then I'll have to do this 5 more times. Well, 5 more sides like this to do a little over a foot. Okay, so I've got the top done. So now I'm going to reload. And we're going to come along down here along the base, and I start right at the bottom of the angle. And I just flow the glue right there. I start working on getting the glue on the sides of the road bed too. And you want to be very controlled about this because you don't want any of this the ballast getting kind of going off on its own and getting out there into your scenery material. You can pick it out if you want later. It's just more work. So the less you do that, the better. Now I'm getting a lot of glue right here on those exposed sides. Well, somebody asked me, how many feet can we get out of a bottle of ballast? I'm going to say a lot. I guess also depending upon what gauge you're working on. I'm working on N, HO. I mean, obviously, so depending on your gauge or your scale, you're going to have to like double to quadruple if you go up to O versus what I'm doing here. As soon as I get, I'll show you here what we've done. This right here. All right, this was only about to right here in being full. It was up to about right here. So I've only used like this much out of the top to do, let's see, I figured this was probably almost 9 feet of track here, and I barely touched the surface doing this, and this is picking up another 3 to 4. So that's 12 foot of track. And you just have to multiply that or divide that by how much is left in the bottle. So probably another 10 times that. So maybe 120 feet of track would do that. I mean, that's just a guess, but just going by what I'm doing here. All right. So now, since everything is wet, I'm coming back in. I'm starting where I'm starting at is I'm going to put the ballast. I'm going to start getting it onto these open sides. First off, while it's still wet and still damp, because it'll adhere immediately. Perfect. Now back here, I need to blend it in to where I stopped to make sure everything looks right. You can't tell where one work day on this finished and the next began. So all I'm doing is the same thing I did last time, except I'm over a little bit. Instead of being right over the ties, I'm right over the edge, going down the slope of this. Once I've done this, I'll come back and I'll fill in on the top. Now we're getting there. Also, I'm going to do another brushing on the edge down at the dirt level so that I bring everything back into line. All right, so now I'm going to come in, I'm just going to fill in where I know it's thin. I can just see it. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do before all the glue gets down here and starts saturating this is I'm going to start bringing this back. Yeah, it's already starting to, so I'm going to have to work a little quicker here. And this is giving you a nice straight line for your road bed. So when you look at it from like down at the other end and you're looking back straight at this, it's going to look nice and even and just like a machine put it down. Okay, so now we're going to, so now I'm going to do like I did before. I'm going to start tapping it down. There we go. All the way to the edge. And then we're going to put another layer of glue on. It's going to flow a lot better now because it's damp on the surface. But first I'm going to come in and get the, so I don't want any glue into it. I'm going to get the toothpick somewhere. Get it here. Okay. So now we are going to just start. Now, when you do it this last time, this is kind of the last time to do here. What I do is when I work on it is I tamp the end of the tie down. I tamp the ballast down on the end of the tie so the edge of the tie, even though you're never going to see it back here, this just gives you practice for when you do like the front edge up here. You just tamp that ballast down around the front edge so the front edge of that tie will show. When somebody's looking down at it at eye level and stuff, when you're watching it, you'll be able to see the tie, definition of the ties. If you just get this, before you do the last glue, if you just get this tamped down like that, and you just make a little spot there, and I'm going to tap it down with my finger again here in just a minute. Right now we're just doing a clearing and cleaning the front edge, that front edge of that tie, which is back edge, I guess. You get any of the stuff on your fingers, on the end of the Q-tip, you just pull it off with a paper towel. Almost to the end. I buried a bunch right here. You can see it. And I'll push that down when I dab it down. Almost got this batch. Okay, so let me tap this down right here. Probably have to come back and get a couple areas. Make sure it's smooth. Then what I do is I get down, I look at it from the end down here, looking this way to make sure I don't have any like bumps and stuff, that it's all smooth. Yeah, that's all smooth. Okay. All right, so I think I'll put the glue down and then we'll do our final tap down back here and this backside will be finished. And like I said, once it really stands out, once the ballast dries against this, it gets back to this lighter colored gray, these ties will stand out beautifully. Okay, so let me get the glue. Okay, there we go. Now I'm making this a little heavier because I want it to start going down the sides here without it beading and taking ballast with it. But I've got enough of the Ajax detergent in the mix to where it's penetrating versus beading on the surface and gathering up the roadbed with it and our ballast with it and taking it down with it down the sides. As you can see, it's just soaking in nicely. And then I'll show you how we sculpt the sides. We basically do the same exact thing. You want to make sure you don't see any light gray or whatever color you're using. You don't want to see whatever that color is. You want to see all of it with the wet color. I'm just going to get down at the base. A few spots. I normally have music going on right now, but you know, all that licensing stuff and going on. I usually work with music playing. Breaks up the time. I've been back into my angels and airwaves phase right now. Okay, so same thing we did on top, we do on the side. We're just going to do it at an angle. Just pop it down. Yeah, and you're going to pick some up on your fingers, but that's no big deal. It shouldn't take off enough to show the roadbed underneath, but if it does, you just come back and you add a little bit. Because you really want to sculpt this. Get that really nice slope. There we go. All right, let me take a look here. I did take some off right there, but that's because it was building up too. So let's see. I've got a couple spots right here that need a little extra on it. Make sure, if you did this, make sure your fingers are dry, wipe them off before you pick up any more ballast, because otherwise it's just going to clump and you're going to ruin everything that's sitting in your little cup here. If whatever you work out of that you put your ballast in. And I'm not gonna worry about re-gluing this part. When I do the second coat, I'll do that. All right, looks like I want to get this blended out just a little more right here out into the dirt. There we go. Nice. All right, I'll get my toothpick one more time, make sure all the edges are cleared off.
BLM says coming together.
It is. We just about have about 18 inches of track done once I get this other side done. Let's see here. All right. I just about have it all off. Now, when I did put this on here, I did notice that a few pieces, and it always happens, a few pieces come back inside. So you just come in and make sure you have everything the way you need it. Okay. That was nice. I was able to, the track had bowed a little bit for some reason, but I'm able to right now just push it back. It's starting to lock into place with all of the ballast. So I was able to push it right where I wanted it. Okay, so we now have backside and middle done on this. I'm just going to tap that. All right, so we're basically going to do the same thing along this front edge. And I'm getting to the point where I'm going to add a little more ballast into the cup here, make it easier to grab. Like I said, just pour all the extra back in if you have any when you're done. Okay, so here we go. Again, putting it all on the top to start off with, on the top edge of this of the road bed here. And make sure you get it up to the height, the height of the ties, because we're going to pull it off with the brush and tamping it with the finger, just like we did the backside. And you're going to see how it starts to encroach on all of the landscaping that we have in the middle, but we do keep a strip right down the center. And if it ever gets to the point where it fills in and you have areas where it's more ballast than it is, and you want to have this definition between the tracks, just very carefully go back in with the whatever you used for your scenic material. This is dirt and sand that I've got, and just do a tiny little bit right in the middle, cover up some of that ballast. And doing it this way, though, you don't have to build up big lumps of ballast to hide what's in the middle. If you're trying to get that back, you're trying to get that strip in the middle back. That's why I do it this way. That way this down here stays down at dirt level like it is out over here. You don't have this big area built up with, see this right here, down between the two tracks that I've already done, it's at the exact same level as on the outsides, even though it's been built up on either side with the road bed. Okay, so now we'll just start the same process we did before. Get my brush, clean the ends off because last time it got a little wet. Make sure it's dry. And we're just going to start brushing off the ties. And then we'll push it down. We'll tamp it all down by finger. And again, it is starting to, the glue is starting to come out from underneath, so you just kind of have to work with that. Okay, so I've got that pretty well cleared. It's easier for me to work on it coming this way than it is working the backside, so it's going to go a little faster. So now we're just going to tamp everything down, get it nice and even. That's looking really good. I'm able to see this better, and I'm actually able to see the edges, every edge of every tie, which is nice. I was able to control it a little bit more. I got to put a little bit right here. Let's see, right here. Well, same thing. Tap, 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 tap. There we go. And the other thing I do is I get down and I look, because that plastic that's between the ties that's attached to the rail on the underside, I actually like it because it looks like shadows underneath, but you don't want it being the whole way. So I always come and I look to see how much I have covered and how much of the black is showing through. Like this area right here, it's all covered. I've got a little bit here and there. So I think that's actually a pretty good balance. Okay. So I think that's good there. So we're just going to go ahead and glue. Oh, let me get ahead of myself here. We're gonna pull all this loose stuff back.
Crochet Lady says, been with you since the beginning today. Wow, so detailed but tedious.
Oh, yeah, it is tedious. Somebody said she's been with us since the beginning today, and glad you've been here. Hope you've enjoyed it. It is tedious work, but this is what, really, truly, this is what, when you do it, is going to make your layout stand apart. Attentions to details like this. Getting everything just right. I mean, I've seen a ton of videos and pictures where guys have just filled this entire area up with roadbed and just left it. Had like a tiniest little divot right down the middle. That's not natural. I growing up in the Southwest, the tracks, you could see dirt between the tracks. The ballast didn't cover everything in between. The only time you really kind of saw that is like close together yard tracks. But otherwise, out on the mains, there was enough distance that you could see all that dirt. All right, here we go. I'm even going to do this on our jump track behind us over here, even though odds are we're never going to make any videos over there. In case we do, I want everything to match. So that jump track that's going to go across behind me that is connects all the levels and everything, there's going to be approximately about 7-8 tracks over there. And they'll all have to get this. Even though for a lot of people, they just use that as staging. I don't know. I may put a background, hang a background behind it, and run stuff so you can see stuff running over there as well. Because that's where we're actually going to have our ramps, our inclines, and everything between our levels. So it might be neat to see them going up and down the hills. Layouts in one room. Somebody asked if we had our layout in 1 or 2 rooms. We actually have 2 layouts in this one room. I'm working on the top layout right now, which is in scale. Right down below here, about 3 feet, there's another shelf just like this, and it's HO. So we have both in here. Very small room, so we're trying to make it work with as much detail and running possibilities that we can. We do have a thing that we're going to be doing for interchangeable industries. There'll be a whole series of lives and videos about that coming up within the next 3 to 4 months. So if you don't have a lot of room, but you have different cars and you want to run different industries, it's something you may think about. It's an idea I've had for a long time that I'm finally going to put into fruition to see how it looks. I think it's going to work out really well. So even though we've got, this room's only maybe, I'm working in a space probably 9 by 10. And that includes my work table and everything else, and the display case we're going to have for all the equipment to keep it so I don't have to have stuff back in boxes. So I'm actually really only working in a, let's see, probably about a 6 by 8 space. And we're just going to pack just gobs of detail into this amount of space. You'll see as we start to get these huge skyscrapers for the city built behind this area here. If you didn't see our thing yesterday, we're in the middle right now. We'll have it printed today. We've got a 30-story skyscraper that's going to be right at hotel, right above the tracks. These tracks that are curved to the left back here behind us. They'll be actually over the tracks, and that'll be for a station and a huge hotel. Most of the skyscrapers we have are going to be between 30 and 40 stories tall, and for in scale, that's going to be approximately 3 feet tall, 2.5 to 3 feet tall. So we're going to have a lot of interest here and really neat things. Okay, so I'm done. I'm going to just check, make sure There's no areas I need to add any extra on real quick. I am going to be putting more on top, so I will be building this layer up here, but I just, because I'm going to do the same thing I did on this front edge as I did on the back edge.
Gavin says I'm making a layout myself. The table is 10 by 7 feet.
Oh, somebody said they're doing an in-scale layout on a table 10 by 7. You can pack a lot into a 10 by 7. That's about what we have here. And when we're done with this, when I'm done today, I'll do a quick spin around and show you what we've packed into the space. In fact, I may do it after I get done with this track right here, before I get onto the middle track. Only be a few minutes, so I'll kind of show you what we're doing, in case you haven't been with us before. So you can see what can be accomplished in a small space. That's another reason why we went with N versus HO. Even though we have HO in here, most of the main big details and really heavy duty stuff is going to be done in N scale, because it's just we can put more into the space. All right. That should allow me to get the front edge. Starting again like we do in the back. Work our way forward. I'm just going to put it right here, right along this edge. Trying to get it to stick to that foam road bed. This one's got a big edge to it. I'm going to have to move pretty quick. In fact, I'm going to stop right here for a sec so I don't start losing the stuff in between. Get my brush and start pulling this back before it starts to get liquid down into it, seeping down in there. I want to get this to where it's, there we go. Just have to stop a little bit here and there and just make sure I get this pulled back. Okay. All right, it is drying up really quick, so I'm going to just do a little bit right along. If this is a train track? Yes. Yes. This is an N-scale train track. We are working on ballasting 3 main lines today. This is the outer main. Let me think here. This would be, if we're back, let me think here. We're going east-west. This would be, let me think, eastbound. This would be the eastbound track. If we were out west going east-west. Okay. Oh, glad you joined us. All right. Now I'm just going to come along here real quick. I'm going to tap this top edge down before I put the glue on. Like that. And I'm going to pull this back just a little bit right here. A few spots, and then we're going to pull all that up with my finger when I put the glue on here and soak this. Okay, time to soak it. All right. Pretty much, yep. So he says we're building that we're just building this from scratch. We are, but that's what I like about this. I could buy the Kato Unitrack, like mask off the track and dull coat it if I wanted that kind of a finish, but I like how this will blend into all of my landscaping. So, and I don't mind sitting here doing this. Takes a while, but it's well worth the effort. All right. So we are going to try to get this to pull up. Something's really funky on this road bed on this right here. I must have had a different type. It's got a really steep incline to it, so it's making it more difficult to get the ballast to stick. So we will see what we can do here. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to take it and I'm going to push this in and I'm going to see what I can cover. And then I'll come back in with another thin coat, and wherever the painted road bed is showing, I'll put a little bit there. But see, I'm now creating my slope versus the slope of the road bed, and it's going to be a little easier. Oh yeah, that's starting to fill in. All right. Okay. So now I got to get my fingers dry so that I can dry paper towel. Okay. All right, so now we'll come along here. We'll just start filling in where I see gaps right along this edge, and it's now wet enough that I'm able to build this up. Yeah, here we go now. Now it's starting to, we got enough building up now to where this heavier slope on this back. So I used two different types of road bed, and I shouldn't have. I mean, it's the same manufacturer, but they had two different types. And I had some stuff left over, so I used it, and I should have just gone all with the same. And this has a much steeper incline to it. You can do that. Somebody says he's using the Unitrack, but he wants to add ballast to it. Same procedure. You just use glue and do just like we're doing here. Okay, so let's see here. Get this tapped down. I'll come back and I'll clear all my little ties off here in a minute. But for right now, I want to get this really finish up this slope. Like before, I'll just come in here. There we go. Get back and take a look here at it. Let's see, where's my, here. Get this back, that back, and that back. Down here is looking really good. I got this tackled pretty good down here. I've got a bit of a ledge right here that I'm having an issue with. I'm going to press a little bit harder and see if I can get that to come down over the edge, and then I'll smooth. So he says, it looks like this takes some time. Yes, it does take some time. But, I mean, this is a hobby, so you got to be, I mean, you don't have to, but this is all part of doing this hobby, is having fun doing this. And I enjoy doing this stuff. I can see right here. Got to get that down. And then come along with, okay, now it's starting to come together. Okay. No, somebody asked if this is for my kid that I built on. No, this is a little more adult oriented. My kid's in there doing the 3D printing for me. He's actually in college, but he helps with all the online stuff. No, what we did for him was we had all the Thomas stuff when he was growing up, and he loved that stuff. So that was what we did with that. And this is for me. Well, he'll get use out of it too. He'll do. I'm sure I won't have to twist his arm too hard to come have some run sessions. So I don't think that'll be too difficult. Okay, that mushed that down. I'm really happy with how that came out. Now there's just a little spot right here that I'm having a bit of an overhang. Oh, well, thank you. I'm trying. You know, this I built 3 layouts, 4 or 5 layouts actually with my dad, but it was all HO. This is the first time I've tackled something this small, and it's definitely been a challenge when you're used to the scale of HO, and this is what you've got now. It's a massive difference. So, um, trying to get the look that you get with HO scenery into N scale, but having to scale everything down. That has been a real challenge, but I think it's getting there. I really do. Okay, now that I've got this ledge done, that done, this track, I've got another 18 inches basically done for this track. I'm going to come in here now and get rid of anything that will catch the flanges and possibly cause derailment. All you got to do is just run your toothpick right along the inside, just like that. You've got it. Now I'm going to run it on the outside, even though that's not a factor for the trains running. You just don't want ballast up on the sides of your track. Somebody asked if we're going to be running steam and diesel, or just one. We are going to be doing. Hang on, guys. I got to sit down for a minute. This is standing like this. I've stood at doing this now for about in the past 3 days, about 14, 15 hours of standing here. So I'm going to sit for just a little bit here. We're mostly diesel, but there are definitely steam engines that I am going to be running. Like I said earlier, probably a big boy. I want to get a Blue Goose, some of those ones I mentioned in brass, but if I can get them at a good deal, I'm certainly not going to pay brass prices the way they are for all the work that still has to be done to them. As far as like conversions to DCC and sound and all that. I would like to get, I don't know if they make it in N scale, the M1 steam turbine, the Yellow Belly, the Norfolk and Western, J3A, probably the 1218, obviously the big boy. I think my radiuses will handle a big boy. Not 100% sure, but they're pretty gradual. And with that articulation and the pilots, the floating pilots and all that, it should be all right. Okay, what am I doing here? I don't know. Trying to get all this done. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So he said, look at that. We're putting tiny rocks down by hand. Yeah. If you didn't see our video, you should go back and check the other live one when we actually did all of the real dirt and rock and bushes landscaping along here and the sand and all that. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to take a break for a minute. I'm going to show you what we've done. I'm just going to let my feet rest a little bit, and then we'll start tackling this right here. So I'm just going to pick the camera up, and I'm going to show you some of the rest of it and what we're talking about as far as the buildings go, and we'll go from there. So here, I'm just trying to remember where this is, but I'll get it all set back up. Okay, so here is a lot of the, we did a whole set of videos, well, not a whole set of videos showing how I painted the rock, carved this out of the foam, painted all this, and then did all of the landscaping here up to it. And here is what we're trying to get. As you can see, this is the finished curve that I was talking about. I'm done from basically, well, now I've got this stretch down over here done, but I've got these 3 done from here all the way around to here. So this is the triple main line that I'm working on today. You can see it. It's this long right along here. So this is going to take a while. I won't do all of this obviously in one day. I'm planning on just kind of probably after doing this stretch right here on both of these, I'll probably quit there. But anyway, so this is where the huge 30-story building is going to go that we have our hotel. that's going to be sitting. We're going to build this kind of stuff with the I-beams. We'll print all of our own I-beams and create a special I-beam area here with some foundations for a 30-story building that'll go up 30 inches right here. You can see we've got some more of our city background in. We've got some background skyscrapers that we've 3D printed. We're going to have some more big 3-foot tall 3D printers right here. This is going to have all 3D printed skyscrapers right here lining overlooking the tracks. Then, of course, like I said, the covered here with the big buildings here. And then the big buildings will keep continuing coming around the corner, going up right here, transitioning to apartment complexes, townhomes, going over into the mountains right here, a little mountain in the corner. And right here, as you can see, this is the elevated track. This is all custom built stuff. Some of it's about half 3D printed, half scratch built with styrene. Right now we only have one track on it, but we will be starting this week doing the second track. I'll be moving this over, putting the second track on the backside. That'll be coming all the way through here, back behind the buildings. Oop, hit the water. Back behind the buildings. That will transition into being in the hills. These are basically turning into the steps of the mountain range that'll be back here. Then over here, we're going to have all the industry, which will be, we'll have like an oil refinery, some other stuff. Over here in the corner is where we're going to have our interchanging industries that we'll have attached onto the edge that we can change out for whatever industry we want. We'll have sidings that go to it. Right here is going to be the jump track that's going to come across right here like this. Now you can see the jump track we have for the HO. It's right here. Here's the HO level right underneath here. We'll have it all underlit, aiming down on it, and all the way over to here. And it'll probably be a mixture of city and industry down here. This is mostly going to be city. So somebody asked, how long is this going to take us? Well, right now we're only into this. With everything we've done, we're 6 months in. So I'm estimating probably 9 to 12 months to finish it all, and that'll be scenery and everything. Hopefully both levels, maybe add another 2 or 3 months on just to get the HO wrapped up. We will have backdrops in front of the windows, so you won't see any of that coming through with the painted backdrops. So that will take care of all of that. Because like I said, this right here that we've done right here, I've hand painted all this track. We have done everything from here all the way around, right here to right here. It's probably been less than about 3 to 4 weeks of work, actual work time in those areas. So it's not going to take us much to get to this stage. Down here, maybe a little bit more because printing the 3D printing all this stuff down here. Yeah, and we can see all this done next weekend. I don't think so. We might see that. This might be done. I might have Ballast done to like right here by next weekend, but that's a pretty good comment. That made me chuckle. We've got I was testing earlier today, just to make sure everything was going to go good. We're going to have an overpass that comes out here, an overpass that comes out over here, an overpass that comes out here. They'll go back all into the streets of the city. Everything will be lit. So it's moving. It's moving pretty good. I kind of did this totally opposite of how people normally do. Usually people put the bench work down, get all the track done, and so they're running. I didn't. I wound up deciding, well, I want to see how I want this to look first. And which is a good thing because we've gone through like 5 different track plans as we've been building buildings, and we've eliminated tracks, added tracks. So this whole area right here changed. This is where the station was going to go, but it was too much of a distraction because the station is huge. But now we've got a 30-inch high in-scale building that's going to stretch to about this tall. That'll dwarf the station, even though the station's enormous. This is the station right here. It'll have its own clock tower and everything with it, and copper roof, the whole works to match the big hotel. So that's all going right here in this area. So we didn't have that before. We were actually going to do an ADM complex back here. That's now gone. This is all going to be city. The ADM is probably going to be over here. So everything has just been, it's just been, a guy asked, do you prefer running steam, diesel, or both? Both, but mostly diesel. So it's been a trial and error, but a lot of things I've learned over the years, especially with my art, I use to do the weathering and the painting. Um, you can really see, I don't know if the lights are going to be good enough for this. We will have really good lighting when we start to do it. The lighting will be back here when we start to do run videos, because we'll actually have live videos that we'll just be putting up where we're just going to have trains running. That'll be coming within the next month or so, as soon as we get the jump track over here on the N scale made. So that's what we're doing on that. So, but we have a video showing how to paint and get rock looking like this, because you can see it's got all the nice highlights, darks, and lights. And I showed how to get these varying colors and everything in the ground and to make it look, let me hold still for a minute so you can kind of see the effect that there is. It really, it looks, even down here, the stuff I haven't even really finished yet. This is just sand. This is tube sand from Menards is what this is. Okay, so I hope that kind of catches you guys up as to what we're trying to accomplish here. So now we're just into the nitty-gritty stuff of doing this. I knew I was going to be having to do some of this today, so I thought, well, I'll just throw this open and have a live feed today, and you guys could watch and hang out and talk and everything that we're doing. So, and yeah, so that's where we're at. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back where it was. I'll make sure, climb up my stool for a minute, make sure I still got it set. Huh? No, go ahead and write it. I was concentrating looking around. What's up? Oh,
Were people protesting about the edge of the world?
edge of the world. That's pretty funny. Um, okay, read me the first one. Let's just do one at a time. Oh, great! I'm glad. Yeah, uh, it'll be a fun ride. So if you want to see it evolve, just come along for the ride. It's gonna be fun. We got a lot coming. And I'm going to show you all the techniques as I go. There's nothing going to be a mystery about it. So if you see something you like, just let us know. Ask questions as we're going. If something doesn't quite make sense as far as what you've seen before from other people and stuff, and I'll try to answer it. Okay, next question. Oh, great. So he said they're going to subscribe. Please do. If you've liked what you've seen, please like and subscribe. That really helps us out. We did finally make the monetization, but what you get paid for commercials is not very much. So the more subscribers we get, the better things will go. Everything that comes in financially on this just goes back into the layout. We're not using it for anything else, so we're just trying to make more content for you guys to be able to watch and see and do all these builds. So help you guys if you haven't gotten to these kind of things yet and you didn't know quite how to tackle it. I'm hoping this will help. So that's all we're trying to do. So liking and subscribing will help us tremendously. Okay?
Gavin says, I went to a train show near me.
Uh-huh. Saying the end of the world? Yeah, somebody said that he went to a train layout and somebody saw an overpass coming like this and had protesters with signs saying the end of the world because it was cut off right here. We have a lot of stuff planned for all of our ends of the overpasses. They're going to be pretty funny. And it's going to tie into something we're thinking about doing along the fascia. So that will be something that you might want to see. So that's definitely something right there by itself worth subscribing for. Okay? Oh, well, thank you, Gavin. He said he was heading out. I hope you have a good rest of the day too. So we're just going to be sitting here doing this and staying warm. Okay? All right. So I hope the camera's back the way it was. I tried to get it pushed back where we were before. Sometimes I'm just going along, making sure my track edges, I can see a few spots here where things got up on top of the ties. And if I get it now, I don't have to cut it off. I don't have to use an X-Acto. I can just use the toothpick to take care of it. There we go. and get down a little bit. I'm gonna take a little break here for just a sec, and then we'll start this back edge right here because I want to establish, bring on down through here. So that'll help. That'll happen once we start doing the road bed right here, and then we'll do the road bed right here, and I don't know. We'll see where we're at that, and how tired I am as to how far I'm going to go with this today. So, because like I said, this whole area over here took a couple days to do to get it the way I want it, but I'm extremely happy with how it looks. So, all right. So I think that'll be good. Let me get see if I've got enough ballast here to do this backside. I'll do some. Yeah, I think I'm all right. All right, so we'll start this backside. We'll pick up if you weren't here when we were doing the first parts. Here we go with the next part of the ballasting. Again, like we did before, we're just going to build it up right here on the edge. The most part, we're going to try to get it up to a level of the ties. You want it about even with all the ties right here. And we'll be tamping it down and brushing it down and everything. So no big deal if it gets a little high. Somebody asked, we're going to have another live stream next weekend. Yes, we are. In fact, we're probably going to have 2 live streams. We'll probably have one Friday showing the build of the building that we have been 3D printing that we had the live feed for yesterday. I will have it all sanded and ready to go, and we'll probably do a live feed on that mid-afternoon on Friday, probably 2 o'clock Central Standard Time, 2, 3 o'clock, something like that. And then we're generally pretty much here every Sunday about this time doing something. I'm not sure what we'll do next week. I'm probably not going to make you guys, I'm not going to bore you guys doing ballast 2 weekends in a row, but I'll definitely have something else in store for next weekend. So yes, if you want to hang out with us and talk trains and all that, we will be here pretty much every weekend, and at least one day during the week. So, all right, so I've got that built up. Got my brush. If you haven't seen it yet, this is the angled brush. So it's got a cut, so it makes it easier to get, especially inside, to get up next to the rail. So now we're just going to do this. Just kind of tap this down so the ties show. Then once we do this, we'll tap with the finger along the front edge. And then I'll come in and I'll start cleaning up in between the tracks. We start doing glue because I don't want it to get wet down in there. So like right here, you can already see we're going to have to pull this back a little bit. We're getting a little messy right here. So I'll probably just pull this down a little bit. Like that. There we go. And we'll just come in here and get these loose ones. This way, this little channel right here is there in between. And I'm back to the better road bed here too. This little area right here has got the more of the sloped side road bed. I don't know what happened. Like I said, I just had some older road bed that I started with. And the newer. Oh, great. All right. Get that. It's got a little wild and woolly right in here with the way it was coming down. So we're just gonna, I may have to put, I have a couple areas here that I have to put a little bit of the dirt back in to cover up some stuff. So I'll have a little bit here too. Okay, so now we're tapping this down at a slight angle to the back. Just like the other track. And all this before we put the glue down. Although we're already getting some glue still seeping out from underneath the middle area. That's all right. There we go. Okay, that did that. So now I'm going to come back in now that this is pushed down. And can see some of these areas I put a little too much dirt in and not enough sand. So when I get ready to come back in and do some touch-ups, I'll put more sand in. Right here, it's really got thick with the roadbed. I don't know why, it's pretty wide apart. I think it just got a little crazy right here. Somebody in Florida was mowing. I don't know. Oh, okay. So you're still mowing? Oh, hey, Josh.
How we're doing.
Doing good. Cold. But no, not for much longer. Just one more day. And then we're out of it and we're gonna head into almost like a thaw, a spring thaw. So that'll be good, especially since we got a water pipe in the attic that's frozen to a bathroom up there. I got the lines open and I got a heater in the crawl space. Should take care of it. I forgot, well, we hit -30 last night. And I forgot to turn a slow drip on in the attic. So that's on me. If it isn't cleared by today with the heater, it will be by the time we get back to those temperatures. All right, here we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, all over Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, Minnesota. It's cold up here. But it's still mowing. So the guy down in Florida is still mowing. Like I said, that we put our lawnmower away months ago. Haven't had to deal with that in a while. So yeah, we are. We've got this polar vortex right now, but then we're going to have, like I said, we're going to have this thaw that's going to go all the way into January. And then I saw that it was going to be cold again late January into February for a while, not too long. They've nailed it so far. The one I go with. So I'm going to believe them on this. They called for all this snow early, like we got this year, which a number of them said wasn't going to happen. So what? Oh my goodness! The guy's mowing has got 3,500 acres. That's going to be quite a job. We have about a third of an acre is all we've got here. But we also have a old, so we can't use a snow blower on it because it's got lots of cracks and stuff. We've got a 200-foot long driveway that's concrete, and that's really fun to have to remove snow on when we get to that point. Like we've had about maybe 18 inches of snow so far. Can't tell now, but we had a lot of melt this week already, and we're going to finish the melt this week coming up. All right, so again, I'm just starting right here with the, I've got the good glue mix that's, I don't know if it was all the way back at the beginning. It's about 30% glue, 70% water, and then a couple of good squirts of dish detergent. I use Ajax. You don't want to use hand soap. You want to use detergent. So what that does, it allows this glue to penetrate into the ballast and not beat up and roll down the sides. Sometimes you get a level in the glass where it's funny how it works. I'll hit a level in the glass where like the detergent isn't in that level. So you just have to keep mixing it, making sure. All right, I'm going to come along here and I'm going to do this top edge now like we did before. And I'm going to sprinkle more of the ballast. Okay, 2 comments. Oh, so the guy with all those acres has got a tractor with AC, so that's good. Somebody asked what we're doing. We are putting ballast down onto train tracks, in-scale train tracks. This is not like the snap track or anything like this. We're actually building our own track and effects. So that's where we're at. Clean that out. I got a little friend has joined us. So here is Ladybug. He is crawling along my paintbrush. He is, if you guys don't know, if you've never experienced it, they like to eat acrylic paint. We have a video showing him along the layout, eating the acrylic paint that I was putting down for the scenery. Why? I don't know. Well, I guess partially. The theory is the smell of the paint is a pheromone, mimics their pheromones, and really attracts them. So that's what it is. But I always find them sitting in my paint trays, and I'll see them along the edges of where I put paint on the layout, and they're just happily eating away.
Bill asked what the size of the layout is.
All right, somebody asked what the size layout is. It's not very big. We just did, just a second ago, we just did a walk around kind of showing it. The room is about a 10 by 10 room, and the actual layout space is about a 6 by 9. But I have 2 shelves. I have N-scale up here that we're working on, and I have HO down below. Okay. So I want to go back in and try to pick some of this apart. Get my middle line done here. Definitely seeing a lot more green. I did a lot more green. Well, it's not green, it's the dirt, but it's got green in it. Down here, and it's a lot darker than in this area here. I did a lot more sand in here. So I'm going to come back in and I'm going to put sand in. I like having that sand look versus the darker. So I'm not going to worry too much about how much I clean up of this, because I am going to put some a very thin coat of sand across. But as you can see, just pulling it out like this, it's defining that middle again. And now that some of it's wet, you just kind of have to just dip your paintbrush down in there and you just peel it off. There we go.
Josh says, I still like the rock wall on the layout.
Oh, thank you. Somebody said they still like the rock wall and the layout. That was a lot of fun to do, and it wasn't a whole lot of work. I think I figured out, somebody had asked me before, the rock wall that comes all the way, goes down that way quite a ways, and it comes all the way around the corner here. I think total work time on that was about 8 hours, I think is what I figured. And that was carving and painting. All right, so now we are going to put, I think, the final coat of glue here, and then I'll sculpt everything and check and make sure all the edges of the ties are showing the way they need to be. Is that going to be the last one we have? Yeah, good. My son asked if I want him to go ahead and reprint the last wall. And it's, yeah, because it makes the lights, along with that and the space heater we have trying to warm the pipes in the attic. We have a lot drawing on the system right now, and it makes the lights flicker a little bit, but it's not been so bad. All right, so now we will start doing the sculpting part. So I've got my paper towel, and we are going to tamp down all the way down. I might have to come back in and do just a little bit of fill in, but there's probably not going to be much. All right, almost on the top anyway. Okay. Now, carefully, I'm going to have to get between these two and dab this to get this edge that I like, the angle. Try not to hit the road bed on the other side. Took a little bit off here and there, so I'll have to add some back in, but for the most part, I smoothed it all. Okay, so I've got like a spot here, a spot there, a couple little ones here and there. So just come back in and, whoops, got that to angle a little bit and drop a little bit on the floor. All right, I got towels down below catching stuff, so. Just trying to see what all these little spots are, because you want to cover all the roadbed. All right, almost. I can see a spot right there. There we go. I'm just going to have to put some sand over that to hide that. Okay, I can hear the printer firing up. If you guys watched yesterday, you probably remember the sound. All right, so last step here, I'm going to clean the tops of those ties off. All right. And get the edge to where it's going to be visible. The edge of the tie, front edge. Well, I guess it'd be back edge at this point. Yeah, I actually clean it. Somebody asked if I clean off the track when I'm done. I actually keep it pretty clean as I'm working. As I do each level, I go in and I run the toothpick on the inside where all the contact is to make sure we have nothing, no bits of stuff adhering. And before I run the first train on them, I will go ahead and I will take a piece of sandpaper and gently hit the very top of the rail, every top of each rail, just for in case there was glue on there from all of the glue. But I usually don't. I can actually see it's dry. That's why I use that the angled eyedropper versus a straight one, so I can really make it a lot easier to keep things clean. So by the time I get to that point, it's not too bad. I'm coming in, I'm mushing down roadbed a little bit as I go. If I see stuff kind of building up that I don't like. Oh, somebody said very interesting. Never seen anybody doing this before. Well, we've actually got a series of videos. If you missed, well, I guess probably given the comment that you probably missed the others, that shows actually putting the track down. Well, actually putting the roadbed down. We've got a video showing that all the way. Then we've got a video showing putting track down, also painting the track, and now ballasting. So we've got a whole series showing how to do this. And it's in our, you can find it, most of it's in our live feeds. We also have some regular videos that show it as well. All right, so now I can see some here. I want to make sure I have everything cleaned off the rail. This came up for incidental. All right. Okay, so somebody asked how long it's going to take to complete a set, the whole thing. I'm just going to give an example on the track, just the track part. Doing this loop, these triple main lines, doing the loop all the way around the whole area. This is going to be a 6 foot by 9 foot. So we've got 2 lengths that are 6 foot and 2 lengths that are 9 foot. To give you an idea, right now, I've got from this corner all the way to here where I'm working, I've probably put in about 10 hours right to here, I'm going to guess. Something about like that. So if you take that and you multiply that out of what I have left to do, let's say we take this, we go here, so there's probably 10 hours to here, 10 hours to there, 10 hours to there, so 20, 30, 40, 50, Probably 60, about 80 hours of work left to do for the triple main lines. And I won't do it all at once, obviously. I'll work on it a little bit at a time, because if I was to do all this at once, it would drive me insane. So I will. Somebody asked what I use to clean off the track. Okay. It's the same stuff I use when I get ready to put it down. So I will use the same stuff after I've done this that I did on that. Now, I don't buy new track. I hardly ever buy a new track. I can always find it cheap at train shows or on Facebook Marketplace. I never buy anything where I pay more than I'm going to say I probably average about 50 cents a section. But that's for used track, so you have to condition it, recondition it. So to do that, I use there's two things. I use the biggest thing I use is sandpaper. And let me see if I've got a piece here. Yeah, I got a piece right here. This is actually from cleaning some track already. This is 600 grit paper. It's not very abrasive, but it takes care of cleaning everything. So when I bought all this, every piece here that I did, I came and I hit it with the sandpaper. So that took a little while to do. And a couple areas were kind of pitted and things, so I used my Dremel and a very fine head on it, sanding head, to like smooth areas. Each piece of track probably took me to sand and Dremel it maybe 3-4 minutes. So, oh, somebody loves this and keep up the stream. Thank you. Yes, very tedious. Oh, thank you. Yeah, 10 hours. I think that's kind of a low figure right now at this point. I'm not sure. It's probably closer to 12 or 14. This thing got really wet right here. But anyway, so the track, so you can buy track, and what I was getting at on that is in scale track, HO is more expensive, obviously. You can do that for the same thing for HO as you do for N as far as cleaning it goes. And just buying used track. In scale track is about $5 a section. I buy it at 50 cents to $1 a section. So, and it takes me 5 minutes to clean it. So it's worth the effort and the time. I save $4 on average, a minimum of $4 per section of track. So that adds up when you're talking around 60, 70 feet of track per main line. Once it does its double loop that it's going to have. So, I mean, that's the math on that shows you that if anybody says, well, I just like new, my tracks are shiny, you wouldn't know that these weren't new tracks. You wouldn't be able to tell that I use stuff here at all. And I go ahead and I check them first. As soon as I get one clean, or a batch of them clean, I'll set up my power pack. I'll do the end, and I'll run an engine back and forth, make sure I don't see any kind of hesitation, stuttering, anything. And if I do, I mark it, and I take care of cleaning those areas a little bit more. But again, I mean, the average is like 5 minutes a track, so to do the cleaning on it. So it's no big deal. To save. Oh, somebody said they like this and they've never seen one built and they're going to subscribe. Great. Glad to have you on board. We're going to be showing every bit of it. We'll be doing wiring here pretty soon in the future, where I'll be doing soldering, showing how to get power leads to it. We're going to put the power leads all over underneath where the huge station and skyscraper is going to be for the hotel. That's where I'm going to hide most of the power leads for this thing. So that'll be a fun thing to do, to show. I'm not a great solderer, but my dad taught me enough to get by with. So we'll get there. I see a little spot here. Woo, boy, oh boy, getting a little messy. So you say make a lot of money with this talent. I used to actually build buildings, HO buildings, and N-scale buildings back in the early 2000s as part of some of the train stuff I did for a living. And I sold stuff and I delivered and shipped things all over the country and North America. That I just used my art background to do all the painting and the work to make stuff look as good as I can get it anyway. Speaking of which, one of our live feeds coming up within this next week or two. I'm going to be doing. Hang on a second. I want to get my hand clean and I'll show you. I'm going to be showing how to do graffiti. Hand painted graffiti on cars. So let me grab one here. I just don't want to get anything on the car. So let's see. Okay, here we go. Here's a weathered and graffitied car HO that I did. You can see all the weathering inside and out, and this is all painted by hand with acrylic paint and a paintbrush. I don't do any airbrushing or anything like that. So I'm going to show how to get this kind of an effect with the weathering to really rust it up and everything, and then to do that. Let me show you another one. I've got another one right down here. So we're going to have a day of just doing graffiti. Here's another one. And again, I'll show how to get these transitions of the color like the taggers like to do when they do their fades. So we will be doing that in the next week, week 2 tops, something like that. I'll set up my camera over on the work table. I'll have it really close, aiming straight down, and show you what I use to do all that. Oh, okay. Somebody said very interesting, and if we're still on later, he'll be back on. Hope you do, but if not, you'll have plenty of times to see us live stream. We're looking at probably 3 times in the next 7 days. So if you miss us later today, we will be back on. Not sure which day. Friday for sure. Next Sunday for sure, and then maybe a day in between. The day in between, I might actually do. The schedule is going to be probably going to be the first one in the middle of the week. I may just go ahead and do the graffiti next Friday. I'm going to do the building that we have been printing. We're going to build it up. And then next Sunday, I haven't decided what we're going to do next Sunday, but it'll be something working on the layout. I'm not sure what it is. I may actually be putting the overpass together because I'm going to get it finished up, weathered this week, and then I get the stuff back around the base, get it all put in place and see how it looks. So we may be doing that next weekend. I won't bore you guys doing this again because I know this is a kind of a snoozer. But we will be doing some good live feeds. That's just this week. Every week we plan on doing at least 2 to 3 live feeds. Rolling stock cleaners. You mean stuff to clean rolling stock? Is that to clean the cars or clean the wheels? Or I'm not sure how to answer that one. If it's just an old dirty car, I generally just use very mild soap and water with paper towels or a rag to clean off any of the old dirt. And I use Q-tips to get inside the grooves and things of, say, like the ribbing on the roof or on the sides. It usually does a pretty good job. You don't want to use anything other than that because if you decide to do something with it later, you don't want to have any real chemicals on there. Wheels, metal wheels you can clean a little easier. Now, I can clean engine metal wheels easy. Cars would be a little harder to do, but you could probably use sandpaper on those too. Plastics, you really can't clean plastic wheels. I haven't found really anything over the years that does a really good job of cleaning plastic wheels. But they're so cheap. Guys are usually like just where they've upgraded to metal, they're just almost giving them away. Like, you can probably get several cars worth for $1 or $2. If you can find them, you can find them easy enough at train shows to just replace wheels with.
These variety of tools and methods used to maintain the cleanliness and performance of model train wheels and tracks.
Okay, model train wheels and tracks. How to clean model trains and wheels and tracks. Okay, they make a couple of cars that you can run around your tracks that will clean the rails for you. And you just have to replace the either cleaning fluids and pads and everything, or the sandpaper that they use underneath the car. My dad always used, and what I'm probably going to use, since I can actually get to everything now, those are great if you can't reach anything. But if you can reach most of your tracks, the best thing to use is a Bright Boy. It's like the size of an old pink eraser that you had in school, but it's kind of a tan color, and it's fantastic. You just go right down the track with it, and it cleans the tracks really well. Between that and sandpaper, that's how you keep your tracks clean. As far as the wheels, like I just said, it's hard to keep the wheels clean. It's usually better on plastics just to replace. They're so cheap these days. I mean, like I said, like a buck will buy you 4 or 5 cars worth of wheels, maybe more, because most guys have gotten rid of them and gone to metal wheels. Now, as far as cleaning metal wheels go, really not a whole big issue, because it's metal on metal. You don't get a whole lot of buildup. So that I don't think is really much of an issue, especially if you have all metal wheels on your trains. You're not going to get any black buildup, which is good. So you're not going to get the black buildup. If you have metal wheels, you're not going to get black buildup from the plastic wheels on your rail surfaces. Drawback to that is metal on the metal is extremely noisy. It's so loud. That's why my dad didn't like them. Me, I've got a mix of plastic and metal, but I'm probably going to shift over to almost all metal when I start doing that. But like the micro trains that I like to use on the cars, most of that is all plastic. So I will have to, until I start converting the cars over and using coupler boxes on everything, I'll probably have a variety. I'll probably have a pretty decent selection of plastic wheels. So, but you can keep it clean, keep the track clean. Just use, and I plan on using both a Bright Boy and folded over sandpaper. So I'm not going to show you because this is drying, but just run the sandpaper over it occasionally. Now, like I said, if you got areas you can't reach, if you got tunnels and things like that, then you're obviously going to want to probably get a track cleaning car. Alice makes a really good one. There's several companies out there that make really good track cleaning cars. And it'll come with a fluid that you put on the pads, or it'll just have a sanding paper. Some even have motors in them. And the little pad spins as it goes down the track and kind of sands your track for you as it goes. So you've got those as options to keep your track clean. Yeah, keeping your track clean is probably the best thing to do if you don't have the metal wheels, just for performance for the engines, so that you don't get buildup and have spotty connections with electricity. So that's what I would recommend as far as maintenance goes for track and wheels and things like that. All right, so we're getting ready to do this glue on this side. Oh, I should do a quick.
Zach says the best thing about trains is that if it hits a power line, everyone becomes a conductor.
That's pretty funny. All right, so let me just get this pushed back a little bit. All right, getting ready to do the glue here. I can't tell what this is that's sticking out right here. I think I have a rock right there. One of the little rocks. I can see another one real close to it. So I think that's all that is. If not, I'll deal with it after it dries when I do the second coat of this glue when it's drying, after it's dried. Okay, so same thing as before. We're just going to work our way from top to bottom. Again, just keep squeezing. Don't let up on the pressure, because it's going to suck. If it does, it's going to suck this ballast right up into the eyedropper. So you want to just keep a nice constant pressure. So even though I'm not out of glue yet, I generally just retop so it makes it easier. It's not as hard to keep the pressure, the squeeze pressure the same. Yeah, so by the time we end this session, I'll have added on almost another 3 foot of track between the two. That's not bad. Didn't think I'd get this far along, given what it took me to do the curve. Almost to the end. Right. Do a quick clean off, and then we'll do the glue along the base. And then we'll do our sculpting here in a little bit after we get the base done like we've been doing. I'm kind of getting to know when I kind of get to this period, I know I'm not going to work much longer, probably another, well, I'll finish this area up, but when I start getting tired like this, I start rushing, and you don't want to do that with this. We'll actually be able to give you an accurate time about how long this takes, because right before we get off, I'll see how long we've been on line for, and we'll divide that by 3 feet of track. So, because I've been pretty much working on this, other than that little break we had in the middle there where I showed the layout, we've been pretty much just staying on doing this the entire time. I'm gonna have to wait till this drains a little bit up there. Okay, so get the bottom here. I think I'm just gonna go a little, whoops, let's get that sucked out. I'm gonna do this a little bit at a time right here. Instead of trying to go down the whole way with the glue, I might be able to be a little more controlled with it here. I'll just take a vacuum and I'll clean that out because nothing else is going to come out with that. Yeah, that's working pretty good. That's what I was trying to do, and it was just drying too quick on me, or coming down the draining down too fast. Keep reaching into my glue bottle. Pretty funny. That's not where the ballast is. I think I'll move this off to the side. Okay, now we need this. Yeah, that's actually doing a little better. Of course, this is the better road bed too. That helps a little bit. It's got the better slope. Can't get out of that habit. Okay, we're almost down to the end here. Then I got to do all the molding and sculpting. I'm just going to run all the rest of this down. There's enough wet here to be able to handle it. I'm getting that same thing on the last one. I am getting a little bit of a ridge on the top, but I will push all that down. Once I get this on, I will do the final big glue, and we'll see what we can do here. All right. Okay. It looks like it's all the way down. Yep, it does. Okay. Ooh, don't want to do that. I'm getting tired. I'll get myself my towel here so I can really sculpt this. I'll have to work on that area right there. It's just coming up. All right, keep coming. All right. Now then, we will put some more right there. All right. So, just got to put a little patch in there on a couple spots. Then I'll clean the edges of the ties off. And I think we'll be done. I'll let this set up for a little while because it's really wet. I kind of got it over wet. And then once it really starts to set up, I'll come back in and I'll tap along this front edge here. And that'll take care of it. I am going to go ahead and tap it down up on top so I can do my tie clean off. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Go with that. So let me get the edge of the ties. And I'll do some neatening up a little later after it starts to set more. Like I said, this one got really wet. Okay. That looks pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. Let's see. Make sure I've got pretty much. I'll come back in after things are set up a little bit more, and I will, before everything dries, and I will get the rest of this all cleaned off in between here. That one looks pretty good there. There's just a couple little spots here and there that I'm going to have to deal with. Very good. Okay. All right. Let me put this back in. You know what? I was getting a little confused there at the end as to what I was dipping into, so I don't think I'm going to put this back in the bottle. So I'm just going to get a paper towel to put it in for right now, and then I'm going to throw it away. I don't want to get anything wet into this bottle at all. Okay, so to get from over here to here, I've used probably like that much of, so maybe about 1/10 of the bottle. So it's going to do quite a bit. All right, let me get this. I'm thinking about it here, so I don't forget. I'm going to get the turn it upside down, shake it, and leave that in there. All right, so I'm going to get this set back. I'll do a quick little wrap up here and make sure I'm kind of focused in where I need to be. Okay. So that is ballasting. I hope you guys have enjoyed that today. Like I said, it's just kind of rhythmic and just takes a long time to do. So I don't even, Gabe, how long have we been on?
2 hours, 21 minutes.
2 hours and 21 minutes. Okay, so 2 hours and 21 minutes to do true tracks this far, so 3 feet in 2 hours. So all right, let's see, you've got a loop that is, let's see, you've got a 30-foot loop. So 2 hours, that'll take you about 20 hours to do that, if you do this. And that's just the road bed. But this didn't take any time. Painting the, gluing this down and painting this, minutes to do the actual. If you go back and you watch the videos, you'll see us doing it, and you'll see it didn't take any time. The only thing that took time on this is when you put the glue on the back, you got to peel it off, let it air cure for a while, and you can put it back on. It's 5-minute air cure time, but you can go off and do other things. So I don't really count that actual work time, not counting the cure time, just a few minutes per piece. And painting the rail, each section takes me about 5 minutes to do. So I don't know, right there is maybe 30 minutes of work, 30, 40 minutes of work to do all that rail that's stacked up right there. All this right here, probably 30, 40 minutes, 45 minutes to do the rail that's you see behind me. So really not that much. And it really gives you a great effect. We will do a video probably tomorrow after this is dried and I finish this front track. And I'll show all of this finished. So you guys can, if you want to stop back in, you can see what the final outcome came looking like. So I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Arsky says it's been fun watching someone work.
Yeah, it is fun watching rhythmic work. I mean, it's one of those weird things. I do it all the time when I'm watching videos. It is kind of fun to watch people do stuff. So it is. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I did pick up, what I may do is I may do kind of a combo live feed of some sort the next day or two. Like I said, I was going to do one for the graffiti, but if I don't do that, I've got all this track that has to be laid right here. And I went down to the hobby shop. We did a live feed from the hobby shop on Friday, and I picked up the track joiners, rail joiners. So what we may actually do on the next one is just finish laying all of this track right here, and maybe doing some more of the dirt scenery. So in case some of you haven't seen how I do the dirt scenery, between the sand and the actual dirt from the sand from Menards and the dirt from Woodland Scenics. So I do that, and we'll just kind of finish everything up here because I keep forgetting I don't have track down over here yet. So I've got to finish all of this and get that done. So, and here too, the track isn't there. So maybe we'll just make a day of doing putting track down, finishing things up. Because I'm going to end the track about right there because I'm not sure where I'm going to cut my curves yet. How much I'm going to have to use to cut my curves to get across the jump track, the jump piece here. So we'll figure it out. Well, anyway, so hope you guys have fun, and
So that's three lives in 3 days, 3 live feeds in 3 days. So we'll see what we can come up with over the next few days. So I want to thank everybody for coming along, and if people have joined before, I'm glad you're here. And new subscribers, I hope you come back. So hope the rest of your weekend is good, what's left of it, and have a safe next couple of days until we see you again. Thanks again.
Thank you.